Hannah, their snowplow drivers are on standby right now, ready for whatever hits later.
Yeah, here in Allegan County, the Road Commission has 39 drivers on standby, ready to go once the weather rolls in. Right now, you can see it's not snowing, but the wind is really starting to pick up. Kirk and Laura, Craig Atwood, the director of the County Road Commission, tells me that once that storm does hit, it's important for drivers to be road aware to give snowplow drivers plenty of room to do their jobs.
Give it plenty of room to maneuver. They can't see behind them very well. If you can't see their mirrors, they can't see you. So a lot of times that's 150 feet, 200 feet back. You need to stay and really watch it at intersections, because as they're maintaining, they have to, kind of roll through the intersection.
Atwood says if visibility gets bad, like whiteout conditions, look for plows that are flashing orange and green lights. Even if snow isn't a big concern, his team does get calls from Central Dispatch to help with clearing the roads for downed trees and power lines. Thankfully, Atwood says his routes are fully staffed, but that isn't the case with all surrounding counties. Nick Sharippa with the Michigan Department of Transportation Southwest Region tells me MDOT's 7-county region is still short 145 plow drivers. He says during last week's snowstorm, his team was able to move around to cover all of the needed routes, but if today's storm is bad, they'll focus more on the heavily traveled areas like I-94 and US 131 to be hit first. Now, Van Buren County Road Commission also tells me that they are fully staffed as well and ready to go once this storm does hit this morning. Here in Allegan County, they tell me that they have about 700,000 tons of ice and sand mixed, ready to go already on their trucks. So once they start getting those calls, Kirk and Laura, they'll just head out and be good to go.
Hannah, the storm hasn't hit yet. I see your hair blowing, but there are several items that people are going to want to have with them in their cars right now so that they are prepared when that weather hits.
Kirk and Laura, that's right. I'm not sure if you can tell, but actually within the last 5 minutes, I am starting to see some snow flurries here in Allegan County. And once it does start to accumulate the snow, you're going to want to make sure that you have one of these, a snow ice scraper. In addition, experts tell me some other good things to keep in your car for this winter weather: an emergency kit like we have here, a warm blanket, maybe even some fresh water, all things you'll want in case you get stuck.
Pull over, put your flashers on. If you got a cell phone, call somebody for help. Somebody should come, hopefully by shortly, but you gotta also realize if it's winter with the weather coming on, they could be busy. So you might have a little bit of weight. So that's why you should have a full tank just in case.
In addition to all of those tips that he just mentioned, another thing that is really important for winter weather is, of course, your tires. Kirk and Laura, you know that living here in Michigan. An easy trick to test your tires: you want to take a penny, super simple, turn it down, face it towards you, and just put it in your tread of the tire. If you can see all of the penny, that means your tire's too bald and you need new tires. Another tip, something good before you start driving this morning, before it gets really bad: pop open your hood. You want to check your battery and the fluids, as well as your windshield wipers. All of those are really important. And once it does start to snow and accumulate on the roads, Kirk and Laura, don't use your bright lights. Instead, experts tell me it's best to drive with a low beam setting or your fog lights.
A live look now at the South Beach Pier in South Haven. This spot is known for those summer beach days, but also for attracting visitors through rain, sleet, even snow.
Yeah, sure is. A little bit of wind can turn the pier and the water surrounding it into a very dangerous place to be, no matter what time of year you're there. And now the South Haven City Council has a new tool to protect people from putting themselves in harm's way.
News Channel 3's Chris Yu is at South Beach to explain the consequences of South Haven's new safety ordinance.
Erica and Andy, South Haven's newly passed ordinance allows city leaders to close the waters or the pier when conditions are dangerous, and it can cost you $1,000 for breaking that order. It might be too cold to swim in Lake Michigan, but it's never too cold to enjoy a sunset.
The beauty, the amazing colors.
Lisa Ferguson and her daughter Grace visit South Haven's beaches all the time.
How grateful I am to be here with my mom and experience the beautiful fresh water.
But when the water is dangerous, it will now be off limits. South Haven City Council members approved an ordinance allowing the city manager, police chief, harbor master, and emergency services to close public beach waters when they're not safe. safe. Hazards include contamination, debris, severe weather, or waves higher than 8 feet.
I think it's good that they're taking steps to promote public safety.
Signs will be posted at closed areas. Violators will be fined $1,000.
I don't think anybody wants to get a $1,000 fine.
No. I think there's going to be some people who are going to try to avoid it, but I think it'll prohibit some.
City leaders can also close the pier when waves wash over it. The city plans to build a steel barricade like the one depicted here. People going over or around the closed gate would also be fined $1,000.
There have been some times we've been out on the pier where the waves get crazy high, and it seems like people really shouldn't be there.
To the edge, but people will be like just dangling their feet off the side. It seems pretty crazy to me.
Lisa and Grace say they are happy to wait until conditions are safe before going onto the pier.
It's such a beautiful resource that we have in our community to experience, and it's just such an awesome time.
The ordinance will go into effect either 20 days after adoption or when the city publicizes it, whichever comes later. As for enforcement, the city manager says a code enforcement officer will issue citations. The city is actually looking into hiring seasonal code enforcement personnel to monitor the beaches.